podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go, show recap prediction sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go.
What's going on, everyone? It's the EVP from the EVP Show, and I'm back. Just saw you guys, but I am live for the NXT Recap Show. I started watching it about 5 or 10 minutes late. It's a whole lot going on in NXT. Big week next week for NXT. We got 3 title matches next week on NXT. We're finally gonna crown a new men's NXT champion. And then obviously Izzy Dame has got to defend in a triple threat against Thea Hill and Lola Vice. And then the Elegance brand is going to defend against Sol Ruka and Zarya, which I've been talking about week after week. I even touched on it on Scoops this past week. Like, I really felt like they either needed to like shit or get out the pot when it comes to like Zarya and Sol Ruka. Like, either you're gonna turn them or you're not. Like, the back and forth stuff is like ridiculous. But yeah, it's wild. It looks like, for me personally, I think it happens. I think it happens next week. So I don't see them honestly beating the Elegance brand next week. But we'll see. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. But I just can't. I can't picture it. Honestly, I really can't. So hope you guys are staying safe out there. The weather is absolutely terrible. I've been out in it for 3 days. And yeah, it's bad. Schools are closed, half the shit, and especially up north is closed. Schools and all of that is closed. So you guys just be safe. Make sure you are taking proper precautions, because the temperature hasn't gotten above freezing, and yeah, frostbite, stuff like that. I've seen people stranded on the side of the road. I personally know that I had to like put in 4-wheel drive just to get out of the driveway, and I was slinging snow all over everybody. So it's difficult, but be safe out there. Only get out if you have to. I mean, the people working on the roads are doing a phenomenal job, especially up here. Up north, they're constantly having to work on this stuff. But yeah. So we are live for the NXT recap. Obviously, we had a huge show with the NFL Conference Championship with me in Miami. Looks like it's gotten well over, I don't know, close to 700-800 views between his ex and my ex. I haven't really checked YouTube because I don't think it's finished processing, but we're going to go ahead and get started. It's usually pretty dead in here for NXT anyway, so I don't know. I don't know why people don't. I guess a lot of I mean, they still got some big names down there, but Oba going up. I don't know. I thought there was a lot more NXT fans, but it is what it is. I love the product. Like, I started watching it about 6 months ago, and I definitely enjoy watching it. So I am on, let's see, started with Sunday Scoops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is my 12th stream. And 9 days. This is my 12th stream in 9 days. Tomorrow is a big one. It's the Royal Rumble prediction show. It will be a panel of 8. It's going to be 8 of us. It's going to be me, the CEO, the head of the table, Miami the Great, the Final Boss Baby, Director Reg, Greg, Vinny from Suds and Square Circle Media, and the 2 lovely ladies from the Wrestling Divas podcast, Lady Alpha and Autumn, will all be joining me on the EVP show. I think that Autumn will be the only one that hasn't been on before. Haven't had Final Boss Baby on for a while. I think since my first stream, but we're gonna have a panel of 8, and it's gonna be a big show. So hopefully you guys show up and show out for tomorrow's show for sure. I didn't expect a big turnout tonight. It usually is not very big turnout for NXT, but it is what it is. Just gonna let a few people know that I'm live. Try to get a few people in here, because it's pretty dead in here right now. But we're gonna either way we're gonna run the stream, and it is what it is. You know, it's a big night tomorrow night. We had a big show earlier. Last I looked, I think Miami had like close to 700 views on his X, which is just crazy. I have a lot of like so StreamYard, like, I don't know what's going on with it, but it's opened up more destinations for me to be able to start streaming. So I got to figure out how to get my Instagram and my TikTok hooked up to this, so that I can start streaming to like my YouTube and Miami's X, which generates a lot of traffic. And my X sometimes, even though I have like fucking 6,000 followers, sometimes it's hard to get people to tune in. There's so many shows going on. JD and Saw Monster are doing Tuesday Night Titans right now, or they're probably finishing up. That's a really good show. So they always have a big crowd. I know Denise did a NXT watch along. So yeah, it's difficult getting people in here for NXT. There's so many people, so many content creators out there right now. So let's go ahead and get started. NXT from the Capitol Wrestling Center, as always, in Orlando. Tonight we're going to see WWE NXT Tag Team Champions Dark State, Osiris Griffin, and Saquon Sugar defend their titles against OTM. Bronco Nima and Lucien Price. Plus Joe Henry will face the Vanity Project. WWE. Plus Joe Henry was supposed to face. It didn't happen. He ended up getting injured. Beginning of the show, Joe Henry was supposed to face the Vanity Project WWE Evolve champion Jackson Drake in a WWE NXT Championship #1 contender ladder match qualifier. But he got hurt at the beginning of the show. So the show opens up with Vic Joseph and Hall of Famer Booker T welcoming us as we see Joe Hendry laid out in the back. The lights went out. And obviously Joe Hendry was injured. Everybody was wondering if he was going to be able to compete tonight. He was not able to compete, but he was put in the ladder match for that NXT Championship that's going to happen next week. Like I said, 3 titles on the line next week on NXT. I was surprised they didn't do Blake and Jada Parker, but maybe they're saving that for like a bigger event. But they are having 3 title matches next week, which is a good thing. The NXT Men's Championship, the NXT North American Championship, Women's North American Championship, and the TNA Knockouts women's tag titles are going to be on the line, which I think we're going to finally see the breakup of Soruka and Zarya, because she seemed very frustrated tonight that Soruka wasn't there. So Joe Henry was laid out in the back in the Vanity Project. Ricky Smokes, Brad Baylor, and WWE Evolved champion Jackson Drake was standing over him. The Vanity Project insists that they didn't attack Joe Henry. NXT General Manager Ava says she wants to know what happened and she wants to get things adjusted. So who was it that attacked Joe Henry? We then see Tony D'Angelo walking with his security detail. I noticed one of the security people. I don't remember the guy's name, but I remember covering him. Like he was in LFG season 2. I can't think of his name, but he definitely is one of the guys in the security detail for sure. But I do remember covering him. So Booker T and Big Joseph are joined by the absolute Ricky Saint at the announce desk, but he was coming down there thinking that we were going to see a qualifier match for the ladder match. But Dark State make their way down to the ring for the first match of the night, where they would be defending their tag titles against OTM. WWE NXT Tag Team Championship match: Dark State, Osiris Griffin, and Saquon Sugars versus OTM, Bronco Neiman, and Lucien Price. The match starts off with Neiman and Saquon, and Neiman tosses Saquon around. Saquon then tries to go through the leg, but Neiman blocks. Saquon then hits a jawbreaker and gets a hot tag into Osiris. Osiris then hits a boot. Neiman then gets a tag in, and he hits a hip toss, and they send Saquon face first to the mat. They then do the same to Osiris, but Saquon cannot take control, and he has a kick blocked. Osiris then hits Neiman from behind, and Osiris lands a suplex. Price then tags in, and they kick Osiris and get a near fall. Price then cinches in a wrist lock, and Saquon tags in, and he also applies to the wrist lock. Saquon then hits a knee to block. He goes for the third knee, but he blocks it. Osiris tags in. He sends Neiman into the corner. Saquon hits a splash. Neiman then hits a suplex, and Price press slams Saquon onto Cutler on the floor. Neiman then hits a Bronco Buster to Osiris in the ropes. Neiman then works on Osiris' shoulder. Price then tags in, and Price hits a knee. Neiman then hits a curb stomp for a near fall. Seth Rollins move. So Neiman gets a tag in, and Osiris escapes a slam and hits a forearm. Then we get a tag for Saquon, and Neiman cinches in a Greco-Roman knuckle lock. Saquon then gets a victory roll up for almost a near fall. So then Saquon then tries for a drop toe hold, but Neiman does not go down. Cutler James gets up on the rope, distracts Neiman, and Saquon hits a clip. Osiris then tags in and hits a splash. So the strength in numbers for Dark State, as always. Saquon then hits a dragon screw, and Osiris tags in and misses a slingshot splash. Neiman then sends Saquon over the top rope and to the floor. This was a good match. Price then hits a Uranagi and gets a near fall. We then see former NXT Tag Team Champions Hank and Tank watching in the back while Vanity Project runs past them. They then make their way to the ring, and that allows Saquon to roll up Price for the 1, 2, 3. And the winners and still the WWE NXT Tag Team Champions, Dark State, Osiris Griffin, and Saquon Sugars. After the match, all of the tag teams come out and fight to the back, but Nico, Vance, and Sean Spears from the Cullen then attack Osiris, Cutler, and Saquon from behind. They then hit the elevated assisted DDT on Osiris. So The Cullen may be next in line to be going after those tag titles of Dark State. So someone we haven't seen on TV, or I haven't seen on NXT or TV for a while, is Nikita Lyons. We see her talking in the locker room, and Blake Monroe comes in doing her imitation of Jada Parker. Nikita then says Blake should have her own chant. Nikita then says she knows that Blake has gone through so much. Blake then says she cannot let Jada hold her back. Nikita then says Blake needs a sage. She then says she never has had a problem stepping up to the women of NXT. She then says she will face Jada so Blake's path will be clear. Blake then asks how she can pay her back. So instead of us getting Blake and Jada, Nikita Lyons is going to step up and face Jada Parker tonight. So Nikita makes her way down to the ring, and she is followed by Jada Parker. I love Jada. One of my favorites. 1 second. Enter text. So we're getting Nikita Lyons versus Jada Parker, which I'm definitely looking forward to. But I really want to see Blake and Jada, but I think that they're gonna they're gonna hold that off until like a bigger event for sure. I was hoping to get some people in here tonight, but anyway, we're going to get Nikita Lyons going one-on-one with Jada Parker, which Jada just came back. So I was fully expecting the outcome of this match. The match starts off with both women locking up, and Jada Parker nails Lyons with a shoulder block and wears her down with a submission hold and transitions into a pinfall. Lyons then kicks out and hits some forearms on Jada, and then nails her with the right hand and goes for a pin. Jada Parker powers out like a quick kick out, but Lyons takes her down with a suplex and a powerbomb. Nikita Lyons is actually pretty good in the ring. Jada Parker and Nikita then nail one another with forearms, and Jada hits her signature hip attack on Lyons in the corner and follows it up with a pump handle sit powerbomb for the 1, 2, 3. Jada Parker made short work of Nikita Lyons tonight. She clocked it. Jada Parker is back and better than ever. The winner of the singles match tonight is your lovely Jada Parker. After the match, though, Blake Monroe appears on the big screen and says no one gets away with taking the spotlight from her before telling Parker that she will see her soon. Parker then responds by telling Blake Monroe that she knows where to find her. So they really hyping up this Blake Jada Parker match. Obviously, Blake was on a couch, some black suit on. I love what they're doing with Blake and Jada Parker, but this match needs to happen sooner than later. We then see Tavion Heights tell Eli Knight and Elio LaFleur that they came close last week. Lexus King and his men then show up, and he wants to know why they are listening to Tavion. He then says this is the big leagues and there's money to be made. He then says Tavion has blown too many chances already. He then says they are going to get what is their birthright. So then we go to your TNA Women's Tag Team Knockout TNA Knockouts Champion, the Elegance brand. They start talking about how Sol Ruka and Zarya earned a tag title match. Heather then tells Zarya that Sol tried to steal the spotlight. Yum then says Zarya only worried about herself. And then we have the personal concierge then says that they are healthy and they will work on their shoulder. We then see Zarya in the locker room, and she calls Soul to find out where she is and if she watched what the Elegance brand had to say. Dia Hell then shows up from behind Zarya and asks Zarya about Soul. She then says, friends come and go. She then says she thought that she was friends with Lola. Zarya then asks Dia if she is complaining because she stumbled upon a championship when she didn't earn it. So that heel, you can start the heel. Zarya is definitely peeking through the curtains there. Dia then says she earned the title. Then they go back and forth. Zarya then tells Soul she will see her later. Well, Zarya actually told Dia, but she actually ripped Soul's name down off the locker room. Zarya is not happy. So I don't know. Like WWE's been teasing this. Like I didn't know if they were gonna go. Like I didn't think they were gonna do it with Miles Bourne, turn him heel. But I honestly, on Sunday Scoop, I said Miles Bourne or Tony D. I feel like is gonna be one either winning the NXT championship or one of the ones that eventually take the title off of Ethan Page. And Ethan's kind of been like courting Miles Bourne, trying to like get him to go over to that dark side. But I don't know, tonight kind of proved that it didn't work out so well for Ethan. We then see Ethan Page top Miles Bourne, and he says it's a huge opportunity for the world to see if you're righteous and ruthless. He then says Deion Lennox does not care about the rules. He then says maybe that is why they have gold, why you have participation awards. He then says do what you need to do to win the match. Miles then tells Ethan not to worry about how he does business. So Ricky Saints then says he will be ringside for that. Miles then tells Ricky no one wants to hear him, and he says if he sees him, he will drop him on the spot. So it's a moment of truth for Miles Bourne. We then see Ava on the phone talking about the women's division, and she says she supports any decision they make. The Vanity Project then asks about Joe, and she says Joe is not clear to compete. Ava then blames them for the attack and the tag match. They then deny any involvement with Joe Hendry. They then say that they were just trying to do something. Ava then says she cannot prove they attacked Joe, and since there is a spot available, Drake will be in the ladder match next week for the NXT Men's Championship. But Ricky and Brad are banned from ringside. So Jackson's going to have to do it all alone next week. She then said if Joe is cleared, he will be in the match. And later on, we found out that he will be in the match. So then we get our next number one contender qualifying match for the NXT Men's Championship next week, which is going to be on a ladder match with the title up above. Deion Lennox makes his way down to the ring for the next match of the night against Miles Bourne. I was pulling for Miles here, but unfortunately they didn't pull the trigger. The match starts off with both men locking up. Miles cinches in a side headlock. Miles then keeps Deion from escaping the hold. Miles then hits a shoulder tackle. Deion hits a forearm, and Miles goes down. Deion then hits a side headlock takedown. Miles then hits a head scissors, and Deion escapes. Miles cinches in a waistlock and transitions into a side headlock. Miles then escapes a slam, and Miles gets a near fall. Deion then gets a roll up, another near fall. So Deion hits a Irish whip and a clothesline into the corner, then Deion gets a near fall. Miles is back in control, avoids a splash, and hits an Irish whip and an uppercut. Miles then hits an Irish whip and an elbow into the corner. Deion then blocks the suplex, and he hits a clothesline. He then clotheslines Miles over the top rope and to the floor. Ethan Page then makes his way to ringside. So Ethan's out there to supposedly try to help Miles Bourne. Miles then sends Deion into the ring step. Ethan then applauds Miles for the aggression. The referee then checks on Deion while the conversation continues. Miles then sends Deion back into the ring and gets a near fall. Miles hits a German suplex for another one near fall. So Dion's back in control. But Miles ends up reversing it, hits a belly-to-back suplex, and cinches in a front face lock. Miles then gets another near fall. Dion then hits some punches to Miles, followed by a boot to the chest. Dion then hits a DDT for another near fall. Dion Lennox then applies a nerve hold. He hits an Irish whip, but he misses the splash. Miles then hits a German suplex. Another near fall. This was a really good match. Sucked away the end of the. So Miles and Dion then throw punches. Miles hits some forearms and a drop kick. I call him Baby Randy Orton. What's going on, Bobby? Good to see you. Hope all is well. Very small crowd in here tonight for the NXT recap. But thank you for coming in on YouTube. Make sure, if you can, to please like the stream. And the comments are always welcome. Thank you for showing up. Dion then rakes the eyes to escape a suplex. Miles then hits a clothesline. Ethan then pushes one of his title belts to Miles to use, and Ethan goes up to distract the referee. Appreciate that, Bobby. Yeah, all the likes on the YouTube videos is so helpful. So if you're ever in my streams or on my YouTube page, you like a video, make sure if you like a video, make sure you hit that like button. Definitely helps me out. Thank you so much. Ethan then pushes one of his title belts to Miles to use, and Ethan distracts the referee. Miles then has the belt taken from him by the referee, and Dion Lennox then hits the island driver for the 1, 2, 3. So ultimately, Ethan Page came down there to help Miles Bourne, but ended up costing him a chance at the NXT Championship next week. Dion Lennox qualifies. After the match, Ethan yells at Miles for not cheating. He then tells Miles to pull the trigger. Miles then punches Ethan out. So we then see Tony D and security walk in the back and into Ava's office. Ricky is talking to Ava and says Keanu is going to be a big problem. Ricky then says he doesn't want anyone interfering in the ladder match and to keep him from being the champion. He then says he is going to adjust his opponents. So Tony then comes in to speak to Ava. He asks Ava why does she bail him out of jail. Ava then says despite ruining her show week after week, NXT needs him. I can see a potential match. Yes, I was just talking about that earlier, Bobby. I do think that Miles eventually might be the one that ends up taking that North American Championship off the Ethan Page at some point. Ava tells Tony that despite him ruining her show week after week, NXT needs him. She says some people are like Ethan and Ricky Saints are only in it for himself. Shout out to DW host for reposting the stream. Dead crowd in here tonight, buddy. She then asked Tony if he is in or if he is out. Tony then says he had to get her attention somehow, and next week he will let everyone know his intentions, but for her to know that he is not the same Tony D'Angelo. Ava then tells Tony he better not interfere in the ladder match next week, which I can see him definitely interfering in the ladder match next week. So then we go to the back and we see Uriah Connors yell at Kel Dixon for not being out there. Uriah then says he is trying to maximize their opportunity. He then says it hasn't been working. Andre Chase then says he has to get ready for his match against Keanu Carver, who is kind of my favorite to win the NXT Championship, but I don't know what Tony D is going to do. Lexus King, Brian Pillman's son, then tells Uriah he is glad he is listening. He then says your father should be proud. Lexus then says he knows his father would. So then we get our next match of the night. Tavion Heights makes his way down to the ring, and he will be going one-on-one with Lexus King, which Tavion Heights defeated Lexus King in the finals of that number one contender for the WWE NXT Speed Championship held by Jasper Troy, and Tavion beat him in like 8 seconds, something like that. So it was very quick. Yeah, Keanu Carter is going to be an absolute animal. So the match starts off with Tavion blocking a kick and hitting a belly-to-belly suplex, and he almost beat Lexus again super fast, but we got a kick out. Lexus then drops Tavion on the top rope and hits a springboard clothesline for a near fall. Tavion then gets King up and hits a power slam for a near fall. Tavion then hits a hard Irish whip and a shoulder in the corner. Tavion then hits some more shoulders. King then tries to send Tavion into the turnbuckles, but he stops short. King then hits a back elbow, and he sends Tavion to the floor with a roll-up. King then sends Tavion into the ringside barrier and follows it up with a super kick. Shout out to DWE Replay for reposting the stream. Finally close to 50 people in here. It's super dead in here tonight, but we had a super huge NFL stream, so it's okay. So, then we see the TNA International Champion Shannon Stacks and his girlfriend Ariana Grace come out to watch. Lexus King and Tavion exchange strikes. Tavion hits a forearm and a modified sling blade. King then hits a kick. Tavion then rolls through to pick up King and sends him to the mat. Tavion then hits a gut wrench gourd buster and clotheslines Lexus King against the ropes. Tavion goes for a clothesline and misses and goes over the top rope into the floor right in front of Ariana Grace and Shannon Stacks. And of course, Shannon has got some words for Tavion. Tavion then hits a shoulder and then he misses a slingshot shoulder tackle. Lexus King then sets up for the coronation and hits it for the 1, 2, 3. And Lexus King got his payback from the speed title tournament qualifier. And we get our winner of the match tonight is Lexus King. After the match, Lexus says this is just the beginning, while he has his arm around Channing and Ariana Grace. So are we getting a new faction with them three? That's what it looks like. So this was one of the best parts for me. Obviously, of NXT tonight, we get a video package on NXT legend Finn Balor. They're really hyping Finn Balor up. He says before NXT, he just went out to wrestle. Finn then says NXT turned him from a wrestler into a superstar. Finn then says without those years in NXT, without opening up to the cameras, he wouldn't have been as successful on Raw or SmackDown. Finn then says those times were some of the most important development and the happiest years of his career. So like I said, they are hyping up Finn Balor. He is a true NXT legend. So we're set for the next match of the night. Zarya makes her way down to the ring, and she will be going one-on-one versus Thea Hell. And then we get the Women's North American Champion, Izzy Dame, will join the announce desk. Izzy Dame, next Tuesday on NXT, will be defending that Women's North American Championship against Thea Hell and Lola Vice. That's one of the 3 title matches next week on NXT. So the match starts off with Zarya pushing Thea, and Thea hits a forearm, and she tries for a Kimura lock, but Zarya pushes Thea away. Thea then hits a side headlock takedown. Zarya then tries to escape, but Thea holds on while Zarya tries to send her off the ropes. Thea then hits a wheelbarrow into an arm drag. Thea then cinches in a side headlock. Zarya then pushes Thea away, and when she goes for an acid drop, Zarya then gets Thea up, and Thea escapes. Thea then hits a drop kick and a suicide dive. She goes for the Kimura lock again, but Zarya sends her away. Zarya then hits a hot shot out of a wheelbarrow, followed by a big, huge boot to Thea Hell for a near fall. Zarya then hits a hard Irish whip. And then an elbow into the corner. She hits a short arm clothesline for a near fall. Thea then slaps Zarya, and Zarya slaps back. So Thea Hell's got some feistiness in her. But she ultimately runs into a boot. Zarya then catches Thea and hits a backbreaker for a near fall. So Thea then gets back in control with some forearms and punches, and then goes for a roll-up for another near fall. Zarya then hits a clothesline, and Zarya gets cinches and a cloverleaf. Thea powers herself up and escapes. Thea then hits some forearms. Zarya then sends Thea into the turnbuckles and follows it up with shoulders. Thea then floats over, and Zarya hits a big running knee. Zarya then goes to the turnbuckle and elevates Thea for a rear naked choke. Zarya then comes off the turnbuckles, and Thea hits a code breaker. Thea then hits some punches while she avoids Zarya. Thea hits a headbutt and a double sledge and a flying double forearm. Thea then also hits an elbow into the corner. Zarya blocks the exploder. Thea hits a thrust kick and a swinging neck breaker for a near fall. Thea then goes for a body slam and hits it. Thea rolls over Zarya and sets up for a springboard coffin drop, but Zarya catches Thea and hits a German suplex. Zarya then hits a spear and she goes for the F5, but Thea counters with a DDT. Zarya then hits a headbutt. Meanwhile, we get Tatum Paxley out of nowhere. She starts running out there to attack Izzy Dame from the announce desk, and they go through the ring. And then Thea Hell gets to roll up on Zarya for the 1-2-3. So a lot of momentum and a big win for Thea Hell, as next week she will go, she's not one-on-one, she will be in a triple threat match for Izzy Dame's NXT Women's North American Championship, where we'll get Izzy Dame, Thea Hell, and Lola Vice as one of the title matches. The second title match will be the Elegance brand defending against Sol Ruka and Zarya, and then obviously the men's ladder match for the NXT Championship. After the match, we get two queens from Fatal Influence, Laney Reed and Fallon Henley. I think maybe we see Izzy Dame or Tatum Paxley in the Women's Royal Rumble match. Highly possible. I do think we could see either one of those in the Rumble. Laney Reed and Fallon Henley from Fatal Influence get on the apron while Thea and Zarya stand in the ring. Thea then says she is with her, and Zarya hits an F5. Zarya then wants them to enter the ring, but Fallon and Laney end up leaving. Fatal Influence was just out there to troll. So we head to the back where Ren Sinclair asked Charlie Dempsey about their match last week. He said they were impressed except for them losing. Ren then says she doesn't appreciate him being a negative Charles. She then says they could have been the #1 contenders. Kendall then says Sol and Zarya got the title match, and Kendall says she can beat JC, which that's something I talked about on Sunday Scoops. I do believe JC ends up going up to the main roster at some point, but right now, Kendall is going to end up probably dropping that Evolve Championship to Carmen Petrovich. And they're molding Kendall Gray, getting her a little bit more acclimated to everyone because she's been on Evolve before Kendall Gray ends up taking that title off of my queen, JC Jane. Kendall says she can beat JC. Ariana, Alexis, and Shannon then say they want to talk to Charlie. So there is a faction in the making here. Kendall and Ren then leave. Ariana then tells Charlie that he is one of them. Like, he's with them. So there's a faction forming with Charlie Dempsey, Lexus King, Shannon Stacks, and Ariana Grace. So then we get another qualifying match where Andre Chase makes his way down to the ring for the next match of the night, and Keanu Carver follows. This was bad. The match starts off with Chase hitting some boots, but Keanu hits a clothesline, some shoulders in the corner. Chase then hits a knee. Keanu pushes Chase over the top rope into the floor. Keanu then punches Chase in a forearm. Carver then chokes Chase against the ring post. Keanu then sends Chase face first into the mat and into the ropes. Carver then hits a back elbow. Keanu then sends Chase's nose into the ropes. Keanu then hits a high running knee. Chase then hits some elbows, but Keanu hits a knee to the midsection and then hits a suplex and gets a near fall. Keanu then hits some more knees to the head, but he misses a splash into the corner, and Chase begins working on the legs. Chase goes for a side Russian leg sweep, but Keanu blocks it and hits a back elbow. Chase then hits a tornado DDT. So Chase isn't giving up. He puts some fight into this match. Chase then goes up top and hits a crossbody for a near fall. He follows Keanu to the floor, and Carver sends Chase into the apron, but Chase hits a running tackle to send both of them over the announce desk. So Chase U is showing some fight tonight. Keanu then leaps to the announce desk and hits a backdrop driver onto the announce desk. He then brings Chase into the ring and hits a power slam for the 1, 2, 3. And Keanu Carver has qualified for the ladder match next week on NXT for the men's NXT championship. Keanu Carver is one step closer. After the match, Keanu sends Chase into the turnbuckles and into the exposed turnbuckle. Keanu then stomps on Chase's head on the top step. He is ruthless. Keanu Carver destroyed Andre Chase. So, for next week on NXT, it is then announced that we have the ladder match for the NXT title. Sol Ruca and Zarya will face Heather by Elegance and M by Elegance for the TNA Women's Knockout Tag Team Championship. Tony D'Angelo will be there to discuss his actions with Ava, and Izzy Dame defends the Women's North American title against Thea Hale and Lola Vice. We then see the medical staff tending to Andre Chase. Keanu asked if he thought that cornball teacher was going to beat him. He then says he is going to stack everyone up. He then says if anyone has something to say to him, they can come to the ring. We then go to the locker room where several people each make their way down to the ring. We then get a video package for the NXT title. Keanu Carver is waiting in the ring. Almost everyone in the match who is cleared is now in the ring. Shallow says what you just did might have scared some, but not him. Shallow Hill from LFG. He then says he likes hearing bones break. He then said, we will have brutality and you need to use your brain. Dion then interrupts and he says, dropping body is their blueprint. He then says, you won't jump him in line for the title. Sean then asks, what if he is out of his mind? He then says he has been doing crazy stuff night after night looking for an opportunity. He then says he has nothing to lose. He then says he can be a little crazy. Jackson Drake is planning to shock everyone to become NXT champion next week. Will he do it? I don't think so. Jackson then says that is why Legacy is going to choke. He then says he can be the human highlight reel. He then says he is calculating. He says he didn't break a sweat to get into the match. He says the guy he was supposed to face suffered an unfortunate injury. He then says you will all get to say that you are part of history to see him become the youngest double champion. Ricky Saints then makes his way down to the ring and he brings out a ladder and climbs it. Time to fight. Ricky then says the view from up here is absolutely beautiful. He then says he sees a lot of potential in future champions. He then says you are the seeds who have not sprouted yet. He then says he is the rose that bloomed in this concrete jungle. Keanu then says you have done too much talking and we don't have to wait. So Jackson then hits a Spanish fly on Legacy. on Sean Legacy, but Legacy hits a crossbody that sends both men over the top rope. Keanu then sends Shallow Hill to the floor. Ricky then hits Keanu with the ladder, and he climbs and touches the belt. And we get Joe Henry's music hit, and he limps to the ring. He hits the standing ovation to Ricky. Joe then looks at the belt, and he does the spin. Keanu then hits a twisted power slam on Joe, which I don't know what Keanu was doing after he hit that, because it looked like he was going to go for a pinfall. I think that was a little bit of a botch on Keanu's part, but he did hit the twisted power slam on Joe, but he acted like he was going to go for a pin. There was no match there, buddy. Keanu then stands tall above everyone else and stares at the NXT Championship as the show comes to a close. So, next week on NXT, we're going to see the Elegance brand defending the TNA Women's Tag Team Knockout Championships against Solruka and Zarya. The Women's NXT North American Champion Izzy Dame will defend her title in a triple threat match against Thea Hill and Lola Vice. And then we will get obviously Tony D will adjust the universe. And then we will get the men's NXT Championship ladder match, which will be Dion Lennox, Keanu Carter, Joe Henry, Sean Legacy, Jackson Drake, Shallow Hill, and Ricky Saints. It's going to be 7 of them going into that ladder match next Tuesday for the NXT Men's Championship. I look for Keanu to probably win. I don't know. Maybe Ricky Saints does. I don't know which way they're going to go. I really think that we're probably end up going to see Tony D's probably going to end up getting involved. Jackson Drake, I definitely don't think he's winning, or Sean Legacy. I don't really see Joe Henry winning, but anything's possible. But that is it, guys. Next week, it seems to be a very rocking show for NXT. Hope to have a bigger standout, even though we did get close to 100. So thank you to you guys that did come in. Shout out to Bobby for coming in and liking my stream. Also, DW host, appreciate the repost and DW replays. So that is it, guys, for NXT tonight. Short stream, a little under an hour, but it's a 2-hour show. So not a whole lot to cover. Next week seems to be a banging show, though. All right, guys, I will be back shortly to tell you where you can find me on my socials and what I have coming up next for you guys. Don't go anywhere.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go, Show Recap Prediction Sports.
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go.
All right, guys. Like I said, thank you to everybody that showed up for the NXT recap tonight. Usually a small crowd, but hopefully once I can get more platforms on here, maybe I can get a bigger crowd. Yeah, next week look to be action packed. We're gonna have we're gonna crown a new men's NXT champion. We got the women's North American Championship on the line and the TNA Women's Tag Team Knockout Championships on the line next week. So definitely looking forward to that. As far as my socials, it's going across the bottom of the screen in blue. Please follow me on all my socials if you already do not. You can find me on X at EVPCJP, Instagram at EVPCJP and lowercase, TikTok at BradyDAGoat21. That's at BradyDAGoat21. That's where I post all of my videos from Greg and Miami for my upcoming streams. And last but not least, most importantly, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just go to the search bar. If you're not subscribed, and type in at the EVP show, and it will pop up. And just hit that subscribe and notification bell, and you'll be ready. I stream 4 to 5 times a week. So yeah, and if you guys go back and watch the stream later on tonight, thank you, Bobby, earlier for the like. Make sure you guys spam the likes, put the comments. It helps get my streams and the algorithm. It gets the stream out there and gets me out my more people looking at my stuff, and increases my subscribers, and we all win at the end. More subscribers, more content, everybody wins at the end. So special shout out to DWE, the CEO, the head of the table, Miami the Great, Final Boss Baby, Director Reg, World of Greg, After a Slam Podcast, and also Gimmick Table Media, which is Michael and Tori from Kicking Out at 2. Also Suds, Vinny, which I'll see him tomorrow from Suds and Square Circle Media. The 2 lovely ladies from the Wrestling Divas Podcast, Lady Alpha and Autumn. And Princess Jess Skywalker, who does a lot of work on TikTok. So shout out to all of them. What I have coming up next, guys, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. You do not want to miss this. It is going to be an 8-person panel on the EVP show. It is my Royal Rumble prediction show. I will be joined by the CEO himself, the head of the table, Miami the Great, Director Reg, World of Greg, and Final Boss Baby makes her return to the EVP show since my very first stream. I will also be joined by Vinny from Suds and Square Circle Media, and the 2 lovely ladies from Wrestling Divas Podcast, Lady Alpha making her 3rd appearance on the EVP show, and Autumn will be coming on to the EVP show for the first time. That will be 7 p.m. Eastern, guys, tomorrow. You guys go to my channel, hit that reminder button, 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. We will have an 8-person panel, and we will all be making our predictions on who will win all the matches in the Rumble. And we're going to get really crazy with it. We're going to probably narrow it down to Iron Man, Iron Woman, Final 4, and who wins, because it's only 4 matches. For the first time in 12 to 13 days, Thursday, I am taking a day off. You will not see me on YouTube unless I'm watching something. I will be watching DW Radio, but I'm not going to be streaming. But I'm back Friday night for the Go Home show of the Royal Rumble. The last SmackDown, I will be back at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Friday night to cover the Go Home SmackDown before Royal Rumble. And then Saturday, special start time for the PLE recap. Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be live on the EVP show channel to break down each match and both of the Royal Rumble matches. We will go through the order of participants and all of that. It should be a really great show. Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then Sunday, I'm back for episode 5. There's no football this week. For Sunday Scoops with the EVP at 6 p.m. Eastern, I will give you guys some news. If I have any at the time, I don't really have a whole lot right now. Hopefully I get some before Sunday. But the last 30 to 40 minutes, I will open up to all Q&A questions. It will be the day after the Rumble. So I'm sure there will be a lot of questions coming after the Royal Rumble, especially if Triple H throws a curveball there and a swerve, which he always fucking does somehow. But yeah, and then next week, I'm back Monday night at 11 p.m. Eastern for your Raw recap, where Stephanie Vacour will be defending her women's Raw championship against Raquel Rodriguez in a Philadelphia street fight. And then I'm back Tuesday for Doubleheader Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, as me and Miami are back to do not a recap, but a Super Bowl preview show at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then I will be back for what I call Championship NXT Tuesday. There's 3 title matches at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. I will be back to cover all 3 of those championship matches next Tuesday. And then Wednesday and Thursday, I'm off, and I'm back Friday for your SmackDown recap at 11:30 p.m. Eastern, and then episode 6 Sunday at 6 p.m. of Sunday Scoops. So hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night and be safe out there. Please do not drive unless you absolutely have to. The roads are crazy, but make sure you hit that like on all of my streams. I put out a lot of shorts. Check them out. There's hundreds of shorts on my channel, so please make sure you check out them shorts. There will be shorts later from this stream as well. Thank you to we finally hit the century mark. We have 102 viewers right at the end of the show. But thank you guys for tuning in tonight. And make sure you guys hit that reminder bell for tomorrow. We have an 8-person panel. Once again, with me, Miami the Great, Final Boss Baby, Director Red, World of Greg, Vinny from Southern Square Circle Media, and the 2 lovely ladies from the Wrestling Divas podcast, Lady Alpha and Miss Autumn. At 7 p.m. Eastern, we will be doing the Royal Rumble prediction show. With that being said, guys, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and I will see you guys tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern for the Royal Rumble prediction show. I am the EVP from the EVP show and the golden boy of DWE. And we are the ones. Good night, everybody.